Welcome back to Ireland AM. Now, since announcing his retirement from rugby last year, our next guest, do you know what? He's been keeping himself fierce busy, I'd say.
Indeed, from indulging his passion for gardening, and we've lots of plants around us this morning, to making his debut as a pundit with Virgin Media Sport. Peter Romani, you're very welcome to the show. Good morning to you. We're going to be talking about the plants. We've loads of plants here beside you because we know that's one of your big passions. But look, Munster, Ireland, British Lions captain, you've done it all over your career. Has there been a highlight that you look back and are very proud of?
Look, I'm very grateful and lucky with the career and the people I played with. So it's hard to pick out one. I suppose from a club point of view, you know, I spent a long time chasing a trophy. In 23, we ended up lifting Munster. Very important to me. I kind of came into a group that were very successful and kind of didn't continue that, but ended up, you know, through a difficult campaign, lifting a trophy away from home, and it was very special. And then the other side of it, Ireland, was kind of different, but you know, we had a lot of success. You know, 2 Grand Slams, 100% stand out. You know, lifting a trophy myself at home, being captain, having my kids there was very special. And
I saw those pictures; they were lovely.
Yeah, they were great.
Yeah.
But I think winning the series in New Zealand was probably the most special. Yeah. Certainly tour. We're talking about tours. The team are away at the moment. Special time, and that one for me was very enjoyable.
What you did against New Zealand is obviously, you know, you lifted a nation. It was something that we've been waiting for so long. You have many iconic lines. You're only a poo. Richie McCaw is one that stands out when you do something like that. You're known for being caught sometimes on the mic saying certain things with the ref mic.
Yeah.
How did you feel about that? Because you certainly made us laugh and you made us enjoy it so much. It was like, what's Pete going to get caught saying today?
Well, obviously, I wasn't very conscious that other people were listening at the time. I did get an official warning from the Six Nations one year for some of my choice language against England. But look, when you're in the moment, it's very difficult. And there's so many cameras and mics around the pitch, you know. Yeah. It's very hard to be conscious of it, but what can you do? It's part and parcel.
Virgin Media took a big chance then bringing into punditry if you're loose lips here.
I've already had 1 or 2 slip-ups as well.
So this is what you're doing now. You're doing the punditry for the Nations Championship. Yeah. How's that been then? How's that thing from coming from playing to punditry?
It's been very different, obviously. I'm new over the game, and I suppose it was kind of something that I dismissed a little bit as a player. When you're in it, you're very focused, and I was kind of, I suppose, external kind of voices and noise wasn't something that I took a lot of heed of, but I found it very enjoyable. It's kept me up to date. You have to keep in touch with the game. You know, you need to know what's going on, and you know, something like the Nations Championship now for the first time kicking off is very exciting. I think for the game. I think the game of rugby is kind of in a weird place at the moment, and I think a competition like this, well, I just think we're fighting for, certainly in Ireland, for getting kids playing. We're fighting for viewership from all the different sports and things that are going on, and financially, you know, it needs an injection, and something like this competition I think will be very important for rugby in general. Yeah.
And it is, like, money comes up in the provinces all of the time where that money is being spent.
Yeah.
Munster have a lot to say about that, as do Ulster.
Yeah.
And one thing, I suppose, Paul O'Connell, a good teammate of you, would always said, it's really important for kids to play loads of sports.
Yep.
This. What do you make of that? Do you think we need to get them younger so as that we can start making more money if they're concentrated?
Yeah, it's kind of it's a circle. Obviously, I give the example of Munster in, you know, the early 2000s, going on that, I suppose, journey to win a Heineken Cup and having won 1-2, you know, within 3 years. You have a lot of kids in the province or in the country at the time, because rugby was doing really well, playing a lot, and you had a lot of. Now you look at the Limerick hurlers winning what they've done, or won what they've done, and how impressive they are. Yeah. When you're a young fella or a young girl or whatever, you want to play the sport that your local or your people around you are winning.
Yeah.
You know, we always, a lot of my generation
100%.
of my buddies all followed Man United because they were winning everything. Yeah. So now there's a huge amount of those kids playing hurling. They're not taking up as much rugby, particularly in places like Limerick. They've had a direct effect on the playing numbers there.
Yeah.
You know, so you've all these factors, and he's of course right. The more sports you play, if you play GA, if you play soccer as a rugby player, they're all going to complement each other. Your hand-eye coordination,
everything like that. Yeah.
And your fitness levels, your enjoyment, all that kind of stuff is going to go up. So it's really important to have a diverse, playing group.
And, we're lucky that we do have an awful lot of players that certainly do that. In your role as a pundit now, because we know Ireland are taking on, Andy Farrell just named a team, taking on Japan this weekend in the Nations Championship. Let's talk about Jack Crowley. In press conferences, Andy Farrell hasn't gone out of his way really to mention Crowley that very much, despite him, like he's a key absence for the Irish team in this championship. How do you think Andy Farrell is viewing the 10 shirt now? Like, is he favouring Sam Prendergast, or do you think it's like a 2-3 horse race?
I think there's loads of guys in competition for it. I think he's not referencing Jack because they're 12,000 miles away, and what's in front of them is the most important thing at the moment is Japan this week and what's going on over the next few weeks. So, unfortunately, Jack was injured, so he's not going to be able to help the team out. So that's why he's not talking about Jack at the moment. But when Jack gets fit and he comes back, he's shown certainly towards the end of the last Six Nations how impressive he can be. But look, Sam had he had a good game last week. He did some, I thought his line kicking was superb. It was a ballsy play to kick that goal. Like, it was a really important kick.
What did you think of the match last week against Australia?
I thought it was a good performance. I thought there's lots to work on.
Yeah.
There was parts of it were poor. I thought their defence can be worked on, and they'll be talking about that. Like, they certainly won't be listening to me to figure out.
But that's the thing, the punditry there. You're going, I was captain, I wouldn't have done it that way.
Did you they're playing Japan this weekend? Ireland are playing Japan. As you said, there are things to work on.
Yeah.
What do you think they need to really focus on this weekend?
I think they'll have to look at their defence. They ship 20 points in nearly 20 minutes. That's not something Irish teams do regularly. And for me, that would stand out as the most important thing. And you talk about teams that win things, good teams, they're all based on your defence. If you're lean with the points, you cough up. If you tries, you cough up. Then you always give yourself a chance, particularly with the attack that Ireland have now produced. You're going to score tries. If you can be lean with what you give up, you're always going to be able to shout.
I love they're not going to be listening to me, meaning Peter didn't pay any attention to what pundits were saying when he was just playing before he gave up the job.
You're right, 100%. No interest.
I want to go, because obviously you've got business, everyone knows you love gardening, it's amazing. But just this morning there was an article published with an interview with David Humphreys, and he says that Raj will obviously be in line for that. He was talking to Raj a few months ago. Raj would be interested in the Leinster job.
Who's
and he
Raj?
says, Ronan O'Gara.
Thank you.
Ronan O'Gara. What do you make of Raj going to Leinster?
Well, Raj hasn't gone to Leinster.
The possibility of it.
I'd be shocked if they didn't have him as a candidate. He's done what he's done with La Rochelle. He's so experienced now. He's been in New Zealand. He's been across the world. He's won European Cups as a player, as a coach. You want Irish people back at home.
Yeah.
Obviously, it would be very strange for a Munster person to see Raj in a Leinster kit coaching, but would it be good for Irish rugby? I think it certainly would be. I think it would be probably a good pathway for Raj, who probably wants to end up in an Irish coaching management role of some description, and the IRFU like to promote people within Ireland to those roles. If you look at all the guys who are on the coaching setup at the moment, Simon Easterby, Paul, Andy obviously was the defensive coach, so they were all in-house when they were promoted. So Raj is a very bright man. He'll know that he probably won't come directly in unless there's a big role opens up at some point that looks unlikely at the moment. So it's a good pathway for him, and obviously a world-class team as well for him.
Well, we shall see.
Obfuscating beautifully there, Peter O'Mahony.
As you were saying about
you love the gardening.
I do. And you've set up a new company. Tell us about the company.
Yeah, it's been a long time. During COVID, Jess started. I used to be in the garden all the time, and Jess said, "Well, we start documenting someone." And I said, "Please don't. It's torture being videoed." But to be fair, she was persistent, and we just got a huge amount of interest from it. And over time, look, if you have to do a bit of planning for after rugby, and I was lucky enough to do something I loved.
People are obsessed with you
gardening,
people are obsessed with you in your shears.
Oh yeah,
You going around.
Yeah.
Like, you are particular about your garden, not a blade out of shape. You just get really. It makes you happy.
Yeah, well, I always just use it as a bit of a, I suppose, rugby's so intense, and then you go to the garden, it's very peaceful, and you're on your own.
Totally
and
switch off.
Yeah. So I used to use it as a bit of kind of mental refreshment as well as just enjoying doing it.
I've been waiting for you to get a gardening show on Virgin Media for a very long time. This is the punditry, like we like to promote in-house, Peter. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I brought in some of my house plants today. You're more. I know you're an outside fella.
Yeah.
My cheese plant there, it's not doing the best. What am I doing wrong?
It's not too
Well, you
bad.
have to water it, he was saying.
Yeah, it's
What's wrong with
absolutely bone dry. It's like the Sahara inside there. So I'd say a little bit of a feed.
AI told me that I had to stop watering it.
Well, stop watering if it's
bone dry.
Yeah. It is completely dry. These leaves actually need to be wiped every 2 weeks. There's a lot of work in these yolks. That's why I don't
Is it
do a lot
true
of them.
about the milk? Get a little bit of milk and...
I haven't heard about that, but...
Have you not?
No, I haven't.
Somebody told me that, like, get a little milk on a cloth and it's lovely on the plants. Maybe it just shines them up. Maybe it's not good for them.
They need a humid environment as well, so they need to kind of be misted every now and then and fed. Definitely needs a feed and some water, yeah.
So,
Right.
just a bit of watering, Mirren. How would you not know that?
I'm too busy feeding myself because AI told me not to do it. Is there any one tip right now that someone should be doing in the garden in July?
Well, I mean, if you've done a bit of planning, you should be enjoying yourself in the garden now. I go out and smile at the moment now every time I go because the place, things that should be flowering are flowering now, and just I think tidying and stuff, maybe doing a bit of planning for late summer, autumn colour and that kind of thing, but getting out and enjoying it, especially with the weather, it's beautiful, isn't it?
It's so gorgeous.
Yeah,
Peter
gorgeous.
O'Mahony takes on gardening. I am waiting for this
There you
show. It's
go.
going to be so good. Every single Nations Championship game, it's on Virgin Media 1 with coverage starting this upcoming Saturday. That's the 4th of July at 7:30 a.m. It's an early day for an awful lot of people. Peter O'Mahony, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for coming.
Great to have you, and thanks a million.